All right. Montana becomes the first state to implement net neutrality after the FCC repeal. So Montana Governor Steve Bullock, a Democrat, signed an executive order on Monday requiring internet service providers with state contracts to abide by net neutrality principles. That the order makes the state the first to push back on the FCC's decision to repeal the open internet rules last month. So here's what Bullock has to say about it. There has been a lot of talk around the country about how to respond to the recent decision by the FCC to repeal net neutrality rules, which keep the internet free and open. It's time to actually do something about it. This is a simple step states can take to preserve and protect net neutrality. We can't wait for folks in Washington, D.C. to come to their senses and reinstate these rules. So, interesting that the state of Montana is leading the way. Montana's a fine place. I've been there quite a few times, actually. But usually they're not a state that kind of paves the way for other states when it comes to policy, typically. So there's a number of things going on right now simultaneously. AT&T recently, and these are just words right now. Keep that in mind. But AT&T recently said that they want Congress to write net neutrality rules. They want Congress to write a Bill of Rights for the internet to kind of put this to rest. Now, does that mean AT&T had this moral awakening and they're coming around to a free and open internet? Probably not. All of the ISPs know they can maximize their profits if net neutrality goes bye-bye. That's why they're for getting rid of net neutrality. If it hurt their business model, they wouldn't be for it. So, well, what does that mean then? Why is AT&T doing this? Here's why AT&T is doing this. What do the ISPs fear more than anything? They fear municipal internet. They fear that communities all around the country are going to take their internet back and start building their own infrastructure. And they fear that states are going to pass net neutrality laws anyway, because Montana just did. It's not a coincidence that AT&T all of a sudden, we think there should be an internet bill of rights. All of a sudden, AT&T feels that way right after a state has passed their own net neutrality laws. You know, New York's been working on it. California, where I live, we've been working on it. Montana was the first to get it done. It's not coincidental that AT&T is going through with this verbiage now, and it is just verbiage. Dem socialist states will pass net neutrality for sure. Absolutely. I mean, Montana just did it. You know, Montana doesn't have some special magic wand. They're just one of the states. So now AT&T is backpedaling, and what that says to me is that we're going to win this thing. Like, if one of the major ISPs is already starting to cave, where they're saying, everybody's upset, so we just need an internet bill of rights, as if they didn't know people were going to be upset. As if the ISPs, AT&T is making it out like, people are so upset, we didn't see this coming. We should have net neutrality laws. No, you knew what was coming, because you remember when people flipped out in 2015. You remember that. You know that. You know that 83% of Americans want net neutrality. Excuse me. The ISPs know that. They don't care, because with the loss of net neutrality, they can dictate the internet once and for all. So now states are pushing back, the Senate's pushing back, and citizens are pushing back. And that third one is the most important one to take note of, because municipal internet would end the ISPs once and for all. The ISPs know that, so now they're trying to get a little friendlier. Now they're trying to get a little friendlier to net neutrality. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for what AT&T is doing. And that's why I start with this Montana story. Like, all of a sudden, who knew you guys were going to get upset? Last time we tried to get rid of net neutrality, the FCC's website crashed from so many people commenting. We thought all their comments were, go for it. Good on you, AT&T and Comcast and all those other amazing customer service companies. Joe, California has 2 net neutrality bills now, but municipal internet is the only way to go. Well, municipal internet solves the fight for good. Municipal internet means we, the public, own our internet. And in other places where it's been done, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Sandy, Oregon, residents there pay less money for their internet than pretty much everywhere else in the country, and they get better internet. They have the best internet in the country, and they pay less for it. And now the entire country is waking up to that. So now AT&T, oh, net neutrality, yeah, you guys should write net neutrality laws. Don't fall for it. Keep fighting now. Let's look at it this way. The ISPs poked a bear. They poked a kind of sleeping bear. Now, I say kind of sleeping because, you know, there's places like the EFF and like Free Press that have been screaming for solid net neutrality protections since 2005. And the only reason we got them in 2015 is because the public screamed for it. It's not because Tom Wheeler was some big open internet advocate. Tom Wheeler was a cable lobbyist, and Obama didn't really care. They did the right thing at the 11th hour because the public made them. Tom Wheeler didn't even want to instate net neutrality protections. That's something people love to forget. Even people on the quote-unquote left, they love to forget that. They make it out like, oh, net neutrality, you know, Barack Obama invented it because he's, you know, he was perfect. And yeah, that's how we have it. No, it's been around since the advent of the internet. When the rules were challenged was when it went to court. And then we got it because we made them do it. We made Tom Wheeler and the Obama administration do it. They did not want to. Tom Wheeler is secretly a dingo. It's a throwback from that John Oliver piece, which I don't agree with John Oliver politically on everything, but I will say that net neutrality piece he did, and I believe it was 2015, that was a genius piece on net neutrality. Nothing short. It was hilarious, and it was very informative, and it got the issue right on. And honestly, it helped save net neutrality. So, you know, kudos to that segment. But so this is all evident. These are important events to keep track of today. AT&T all of a sudden wants net neutrality. Montana is the first state to get net neutrality laws. We're working on laws in other states. The CRA is still in the works. And now people are starting to scream for municipal internet. And the ISPs fear that. They fear that. They know they're not going to win this fight. So now AT&T was like, well, let's be the first company to say we favor net neutrality so it makes us look better. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Don't think AT&T is the good guy and Comcast is the bad guy. They're all bad guys. Don't fall for it. But this is good news. This isn't good news because, oh, AT&T is great now. All the ISPs want the same thing. They all want to make as much money as possible. They don't care about the customer. That's just how it is. And I know you need an ISP to have the internet. That's the truth. I mean, pretty much, I've had AT&T before. I've had Comcast before. Like, you know, a lot of times you don't have a choice depending on where you live. But here's the thing. They know they're going to lose this fight. So that's some good news in net neutrality. What AT&T did is evidence that we're going to win this net neutrality fight. So let's keep it up. Good for Montana. That's a good start. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.